capital, but now what? Strategy outlines the how, and then connects to marketing's responsibilities, selling, value propositions, and process and organizational requirements. You can see how well aligned things are, and with very little white space to isolate functions and tasks. When we're facing turbulence, can any of us really afford wasted effort for one area that's overweight? Without balance, there's a high risk for wipeout. So make sure you achieve balance by aligning your efforts along business lines and lines of business. Current 9, differentiation strategy. Are you working hard only to look like the other guy? If you say you're playing catch-up, are you really only mimicking your competition? Even when skies are blue, that's dangerous. But when the clouds roll in, if you're not giving customers a clear choice, you're at risk of defaulting that choice to a competitor that stands out. So often in recessionary or slow growth environments, budgets get squeezed and a kind of quiet settles in. Don't be quiet like everyone else. Be special. Don't look to spend more money. Look to set yourself apart in the most dramatic and attention-getting ways you can. Here's a great example of how a lowly business product can look special. If orchestrated with customer patterns, unique approaches can result in high impressions, loads of attention, and waves of free ink. Perhaps even better, doing something dramatic that social networks pick up and spread online. Again, multiplying the effect over and over. It could be as simple as finding a surprising way to dramatize your value proposition and get people involved with it in a fun and interesting way. Or you might be able to find a way to flip the commonplace and add a lot of muscle to your brand at a time when your competitors go weak in their marketing needs. Okay, major current number 10, measure, measure, measure. In a time when budget dollars will be harder to come by, you better justify your spend. The way to do that is to understand what you need to measure, why measure it, and how to measure it best. So for every action you plan, be planning to measure the reaction. Is it any wonder why so many dollars end up online? It's the most measurable channel available. But if you live by the numbers, you can die by the numbers. So be very careful with measurement intervals. Know what you want to measure and why, but also make sure that you measure along a timeline. You don't want to end the year and then find out you haven't met your numbers. Assess progress or lack thereof at intervals that allow you to make changes. Here you see a simple dashboard we did that presents several sets of metrics tracked quarterly. Keeping measurement top of mind will increase your chances of staying on top of the wave. And here we are, still on top. We've examined 10 currents that generate a number of important waves. But now what? Are you thinking, oh, this is too complicated for my situation, or, God, what do I do with all this stuff? Not to worry. In this time of uncertainty, life can still be sweet. Well, sweeter at least if you simplify, focus, and above all, make it personal. Why personal? Well, let's dive into that. Recently, American Business Media commissioned Forrester to research B2B media preferences. Decision makers in 21 different business segments said that their consumption of print media was declining, while their use of digital media was increasing. That's no big surprise. Increasingly, though, face-to-face media, like events, trade shows, for instance, grew in preference. The waves, obvious, print, digital, face-to-face. But as we looked deeper, we saw 4 major currents. First, decision makers want relevant information to help them do their jobs. But they also like it delivered in an experience, not just statically. Accessibility, critical. They want to get what they need, when and where they need it, via newsprint or internet or by phone. And they want it personalized. They want it to fit them, their situation, and their life and work style. For us, in EMA Group B2B, we have a planning model that helps keep things personal. We call it Engage, and it's a 360-degree process that starts with the target audience at its center. This reminds us always to make it personal and keep a focus on the people we want to connect with. Make every drop of resource you have count. Get as close as you can to your audience and audience segments. Understand her better by creating her persona. Know her by name. Bounce ideas off her persona. Know how she thinks, know how she feels, and how she buys your product. Understand what she needs at each stage in her purchasing cycle. Orchestrate your message and tactics throughout her journey as your customer and watch the results build. Don't think for a minute that she's only playing a numbers game. Far from it. Business buying is rational and emotional. Check yourself. If you find that your communications are talking I, it, they're not talking personally. When you're talking we, you're in a more personal mode. You're connecting. You're talking solutions, not merely products. You're talking human. I'd like to close with a great example of highly personal, highly relevant, brand active, we, you marketing and communications. As you get a feel for what this brand is doing, you'll start to feel many of the currents we talked about today. Hewlett-Packard's campaign for personal computers crosses channels from consumer to business very successfully. Whether you're at home, in the home office, or an office in a small, medium, or large enterprise, HP has made the computer personal again, has personalized it to fit your lifestyle and work style, and for those of other people we know too. Even if you've never seen a TV commercial like this before, you'll feel they personalized the message when you look at the HP website. Here, on the small and medium business area of HP.com, you can access plenty of information on business products that are tuned to the size and nature of your business. You can learn via plenty of training courses and even share your points of view or your needs two-way with HP. And there's more. You can even find templates for business forms, plus help with organization and planning. Everything here is easy to find and easy to access. Heck, you can even use HP's free image library. In fact, I did. I used some of the images here in this presentation. HP has not only made the computer personal again, they made the relationship between me and HP very personal. Okay, so we take all these 10 currents: obsession with the customer, globality, blurring distribution channels, multiple communications channels, environmental responsibility, Web 2.0, the value chain, alignment, standing out, and measurement. We boil them down to the single most important thing to keep in mind as we traverse the waves these currents push in. Make it personal. Dig deep into the customer and understand what drives customer value. Know how to reach the customer and how they're reaching you. Focus on what's relevant to the customer because there's no time to waste. Don't just drive leads, create conversations and build communities. Provide the customer with a clear choice. Don't be afraid to be different. Involve and engage the customer. Talk to them as humans and treat them that way, not as machines. Remember, products are nuts and bolts, brands are heart and soul. When you make business to business, person to person, you connect with the customer at more levels, rational and emotional. You build relationships as you build your brand. You create more balance. And with better balance and hopefully some inspiration from what we've covered today, you'll ride the waves longer and stronger. Thank you for joining us today. If you'd like a copy of this presentation, here's how you can get it. And please remember, our teams of specialists can help you with any of the topics we touched on today, whether it's understanding them better, planning for them, or developing strategies and ideas with them. Just catch your EMA account manager and we'll jump right on it.